Hey everybody, today in this Excel tutorial we're going to learn what macros are and how to create them so that you can easily perform tasks where there are multiple steps all in one easy step. So basically a macro is like a mini computer program, and what we have to do in Excel is we have to record a macro to tell it what to do. So for example, in this instance, I have this spreadsheet. We have a list of products. We have our cost for that product, what we sell it at, our profit per sale, how many we've sold, and our gross profit. So let's say I want to make a bunch of changes to this spreadsheet at one time. Let's say I want to bold the headings. I want to format the numbers that are money related to currency style, and then I want to sort by the gross profit. So I want our highest profiting item at the top, the lowest profiting item at the bottom. So that is a number of steps, and if we do this kind of thing often, we would have to do those steps each time. A macro will allow us to perform those steps all at one time. All right. So the first thing we have to do before we even get to recording our macros, we have to ensure that the developer tab is enabled in Excel. As you can see across the top of the ribbon, we do not have the developer tab enabled. What we're going to do is we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Options at the bottom. We're going to go to Customize Ribbon. We are going to check off the developer tab, and we are going to say OK. And now we can see that the developer tab is enabled. So if we go to the developer tab, you can see that we get a whole bunch of new options here that we obviously didn't have before because the developer tab was disabled. One of those is macro. So we're going to click on macros. All right. And you can see that we have a spot for the macro name. When we record the macro, we will name it and it will appear here. Later on, we can run, we can edit the macro, we can create, we can delete, all sorts of things that we can do with our macros. Okay, so we're going to cancel out of that for just a minute. And now what we're going to do is we are going to record a macro. Okay, so we're going to name the macro gross profit spreadsheet. We'll just call it that. Okay, so you notice I have no spaces or anything in there. You can't have any spaces or special characters or anything like that. We're not going to do a shortcut key yet, but later on in this video I will show you how to do a shortcut key. We're going to store the macro in this workbook so that it only applies to this workbook. All right, so we're going to click OK. Now, the macro is recording, so any step that we take now is going to be recorded by the macro. All right. In other words, the macro is going to remember the steps that we are taking, just like as if you were PVRing a TV show. So we want to go back to the home. We want to bold all the headers. We want to center them. Okay. Then we want to sort the data by gross profit from largest to smallest. And then we want to format all the data so that it is in currency style. Okay, so we're going to go Format, Format Cells, Currency Style, 2 decimal places, OK. All right, so that is all the steps that we had to take in order to make that happen. So I'm going to go back to the Developer tab. I'm going to stop recording the macro. All right, so it's done now. Okay. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to undo everything that I did so that it's back exactly as it was, okay? And there we go. So that's how it was before I recorded the macro. Now let's say we've entered this data again, and now we want to perform all those changes that we made, but we don't want to have to do it step by step. So what we're going to do is we're going to run our macro. So I'm going to go developer, macros. There's our macro. We're going to run it. And you can see it makes all of those changes at once. Now let's say we wanted a shortcut key. Okay. Again, I'm going to undo. Actually, it won't let me undo it. But okay, so I want to create a shortcut key for our macro. So we're going to go back to macros. We're going to go to edit. Okay. Now, if you look here, this is the code that when we recorded our macro, this is what we actually created. So you actually, without having to know how to code, have written a little computer program. Okay. So you can see here, horizontal alignment center. We've bolded up here. So you can basically see everything that we have done with the macro. So we're going to close that. All right. So we're going to go to options as I did just there. I'm going to do that again. Going to go to options. Now let's say we want our shortcut key to be control plus the number 1. All right. We're going to click OK. Oh, shortcut key must be a letter. All right. So we'll do Control G for gross product. Okay. And we are going to close our macro. And what we will do now is I will just manually undo everything that I've done here. And then we'll try to run our macro with the shortcut key. So we're going to go format cells. We're going to make it a general kind of deal there. Are they still sorted? Yes, they are still sorted. So I'm going to sort it alphabetically now. So I'm going to go to, I lost my train of thought there. Sort, custom sort. We're going to sort it by product name, A to Z. All right. So this is kind of back where we were before, except without it being centered. So we'll do that too. All right. Now, let's say that we've got our base spreadsheet again, and we want to make all those changes, but this time with the shortcut key. All right. So you're not going to be able to see me do this, but what I am doing on the keyboard is holding down the control key, hitting the letter G, and it automatically runs the macro and makes all those changes at once. So macros can be a huge time saver. Now, don't forget, if you are creating shortcut keys, you're going to have to make a note somewhere about which keys run which macro, or else very strange things can happen. In the next macro video, I'm going to show you how to add a button to your spreadsheet somewhere in here, so that all you have to do, instead of going to the developer tab and macros and then running it, or instead of having to remember all your shortcut keys, we can put a button on the screen right here, let's say, that all we have to do is click it and it will run that macro. So check that video out on my channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys got a lot out of this, and I'll see you on the next video.